Stepping into the world of digital music production can be both exhilarating and a tad overwhelming. But fear not, I've got some essential tips that will help you navigate this new terrain with confidence. First and foremost, ensure your setup is optimized. This means setting up your computer and reducing any latency, which is the delay between playing a note and hearing it back. Most DAWs have settings to adjust buffer size, which can help minimize latency. More latency will allow a computer that is struggling to have more time to process what is happening, which can make it less likely to hang or crash. But more latency can also make tracking new parts difficult, as you begin to feel detached from the music and your performance will suffer. Generally, when you are tracking or recording a performance, under 10 milliseconds is ideal and you will not really feel anything. Between 10 and 20 milliseconds and you might start to feel uncomfortable, and above 20 milliseconds can become really problematic. When mixing, latency is not a problem. It is only an issue when recording new parts, and it starts to impact on your ability to keep in time with the part you're playing along to. If you're experiencing problems, try muting parts that are not needed when recording your part and disabling any plugins that are not required at that time. You can always bring them back later after you have recorded your part. It will just put less strain on the system at that moment in time. Some DAWs have settings that allow direct or low latency monitoring, but you can only hear effects of your DAW and plugins with regular monitoring. For instance, you have a DI guitar and all your overdrive or delays are from plugins or the DAW effects. You will need to use regular monitoring. So what do you do if you're still having problems? You can try locking or freezing tracks. This is where the computer works out the sound of the effects and channel and then saves a copy of that file, so you can disable those effects in real time and just play back a mixed down version of that track. This can save a lot of resources, but to make changes you will need to unfreeze the track. Make sure you do not have lots of unnecessary programs running on your computer. Press Alt-Control-Delete at the same time and select Task Manager. Click on Startup Apps. Look at what is enabled that is not needed. You can see on my internet computer how many applications want to embed themselves in my startup files, and you can see I turned pretty much all of them off. For yourself, for instance, disconnect from the internet and turn off your firewall and antivirus, but make sure you turn them back on again before you go back online. If you are unsure if an item can be turned off without causing problems, use an internet search on the name and you will find a page which tells you what it is and if it can be turned off. Once you have turned off everything, reboot your computer. Just run through the same process in reverse to turn things back on again once you have finished your session, to go back to normal, or leave them off if they're not really needed. Also, on a side note, invest in a good pair of headphones or studio monitors. They'll give you a clearer picture of your sound. While we're covering the basics in this course, there's a vast world of knowledge out there. Dive into tutorials, forums, and online communities related to your DAW. The more you learn, the better you'll become. And remember, every producer, no matter how experienced, was once a beginner too. Digital music production offers endless possibilities. Don't be afraid to experiment. Play with different sounds, effects, and plugins. Sometimes the most unexpected combinations can lead to the most incredible results. But we'll look more into that in the next section, music production fundamentals. So do not worry if you're looking at it all and feeling, well, slightly overwhelmed. Lastly, connect with fellow learners. Share your work, seek feedback and collaborate. Learning together can be both fun and enlightening.